Hi everyone, it's me, the Booknester, Rebecca, and I'm here to talk about what I'm transitioning with my color pencils. Where are my pencils and I going next for the month of March? So February was fantastical February, and I had one. I did some great coloring in Bennett Klein's Color My Sketchbook 2. I did a huge, and actually started some more coloring in Imagimorphia, so Kerby, Rosanes, wow. And then I also even worked in Johanna Basford's Secret Garden with a little Valentine's Day special coloring. And I'll share with all of you what I've done in those. But now comes the question of where do I go in March? Now with my reading, I've already decided I am jumping on the bandwagon and we're going to be doing March Mystery Madness. But finding books to go along with that was a little difficult. Now I did find one that I've already mentioned in a previous video when I was talking about what I was going to be doing going into March, and that is my Sherlock Holmes graphic novel based one, which I'm really excited about. But this is where my dilemma starts. So March is actually half and half. It's half winter, half spring. This is when it changes over. So what do I do? Do I go back to the Snow Queen or do I find something else? And also in March is St. Patty's Day, and I'd love to do something like I did for Valentine's Day that maybe is an ode to St. Patty's Day, but I don't have any Irish-based coloring books. I don't have anything that I know of that has a leprechaun in it, so I'll have to figure out something. But there's so much going on, and then it's going to turn into spring, and my urge to be back in Secret Garden just really grew. I've missed it. I haven't been in it since probably August. And anything to do with gardening. I have gardening coloring books like you wouldn't believe, flowers upon flowers, and I'm really itching to get back into that. So let's see, what did I do in February and where are my color pencils and I going in March? Alright everyone, so the biggest thing that I've been working in has been Imagimorphia for fantastical February. And of course I've been working on my metallic skull. Now I have done a couple different tutorials kind of going over different metals and the best way that I found to be able to recreate them. And I'm pretty happy with how this has come out. He's very grungy. He's been beaten up as we've talked about. And I have all my color recipes for copper, silver, and for gold. Really happy with the gold, pretty happy with the copper. The silver is still kind of a work in process, but it also means that silver is one of those things where making it grungy is a very different look than making it shiny. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it and feel that it's a pretty balanced picture. One of the things that I did that I didn't do a tutorial on, which if anyone is interested in, is how I did the background. I really like doing backgrounds. This is all done with Prismacolors and layering, because you know me in layers. But it also, I did to kind of make it blend even better, I did use the Gamsol on it. And so I could show people how to do that if there's interest. And I'll show you in another one where I've done that. Now something else I was also doing this month, because I needed to practice for my silvers, I did go to 2 other pages. And here I was working on more of a bright gold, and I still have tons to do. Mostly what I did was work on the backgrounds. Again, I absolutely love backgrounds and working on them. This background is a combination of a very light blue wash that comes out the back of these individuals, and then all Prismacolors to make all the different shades of blue and make it really feel like it's a dynamic moment. They're about to clash, you know, that type of thing. But I'll be finishing this and working on this, but this might not come out until I'm ready to do another fantastical or a sci-fi. But this is where I was really playing around with different silvers and kind of using this as an excuse to go on. So we'll see if that one's going to go, if I'll continue on. I mean, I will finish this page, these 2 pages, just a question of whenever I come back into it. So we'll be closing Kerby Rosanes for this month. However, very exciting news in April, I believe, he has a new one coming out. And I've already pre-ordered it because it's going to have dragons and all the mythological creatures in it, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really have enjoyed his stuff because of all the fiddly bits, though it does take a while, but I'm okay with that. You know, I really, and backgrounds and doing all these layer by layer, that is something that I am so comfortable doing. It's so relaxing. Sometimes backgrounds are fantastic because you don't have to put a lot of thought into them and you can just relax and enjoy the coloring process. So did I do anything else this month? Well, this month was also Valentine's Day. So in honor of that, I joined in with a, oh goodness, it was on Instagram. And I did a Valentine's themed, and I have to tell you, again, you can kind of see with the backgrounds that I like to do. Now this one is all nothing but Prismacolors, except for a very light silver gray wash that I started out with, and then I've went in and done extra little high, I don't know, low lights, I guess, to kind of make it appear a little bit more vibrant. But I really only let myself use 4 different colors other than that gray on this one, and I love the way it came out. It's very Valentine's, but I have to tell you, I was ready to put down anything that was pink or purple after this one. I did do some outlining on the edges with my Stattlers, so I got to use them. I was quite excited because I don't get to use them very often. But what this book did is it makes me want to go back into it so badly. I haven't been in this, as I said earlier, for a long time, probably since last August, and I missed this book. This was my very first book, was The Secret Garden. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was my second book because I did get Enchanted Forest. I've been coloring for about a year, and these are the first 2 books that I had, and I just really have loved them, and I would like to get back in. And I know she's coming out with another one in September, so that's always exciting. And then finally, because there is another holiday that gets kind of celebrated, I am originally I'm from the South. I was raised in the South, and Mardi Gras is a huge thing where I come from, and so I decided I would try to do a little ode to Mardi Gras. And I did this trying to use a tutorial. And this is my first, actually let me show you, I'm sorry. It is Color My Sketchbook number 2 by Bennett Klein. This is my first grayscale, my first Bennett Klein. And there's some real positives in it, definitely. I don't know that I would do this technique again the way that I did this one, but you know, I was mainly trying to do gold, green, and purple because those are the colors that are associated with Mardi Gras. And I felt a little bit that the grayscale takes some control out of my hands, and I don't know how much of that I really like. I have a lot more experience with these jewels and stuff to try to get. These are really tough, and they're everywhere. His artwork is amazing. I absolutely love his artwork. I just don't know if the grayscales are going to be my cup of tea or not, but I will be trying another one in a different mode with different technique probably, you know, within the year. It didn't take me really long to do this, so the technique does speed up, and I'm able to get something done. But like I said, his artwork's fantastic. So this is my, I think it's like, let's see, what are they? This is one thing I like. He does have up here in the front, he has the names of for each one of his pieces of artwork, and then he has a palette area that you can put the colors in and kind of see if they work. That is what I colored in February. So now what am I going to go on in March? Well, I've already shown you one, and I'll just go ahead and open it up so that we can kind of go through it a little bit. And that is my Sherlock Holmes graphic novel. And I have said before, one of the things I'm looking forward to, or something that I've caught myself I really liked, I've bought a lot of coloring books that tell a story and have the same characters throughout. The Snow Queen was one of them. And I understand and kind of am thinking I'm the illustrator of the book, so consistency throughout the book is important. And this is a graphic novel in the old form of graphic novels, and I love it. It is the Hound of the Baskervilles, And as you can see, there is, there's an actual story going along. But if you just look on this one page here, I have some great faces. They've got some nice shading in there to give me some clues as to how to do it, so I can really start practicing on faces, and that's something I'd like to do. Plus, you don't get a lot of men's faces, so that'll be kind of interesting. We have Dr. Watson here, and then their clothing. So we see Holmes here with his tie and his jacket. Down here, whatever I do on his face, I'm going to need to do through the whole book, because his coloring's not going to change that much. There might be shadows, but it's basically the basic color. And I don't necessarily, and I can't change up his jacket from here to there. So, and doing more fabrics and clothing. So I'm really looking forward to it. So again, we just have lots and lots of faces throughout. I also like that I can do these little ones at a time and keep moving. I could also go through and do just Holmes through the whole thing. So I'm probably going to do a couple little tutorials of what my plan of action for these guys are going to be. This would be a good one to start with, and then that would establish, what his jacket and coat and all of that, and his pipe and all that looks like, because he does wear that quite a lot. And then we're going to get some landscapes, out in Dartmoor, Devonshire. We've got even some buildings. So I think that there's a lot of technique and things I can work on in this book and then try to replicate, because there it is again. So this can't look that different than the one before. Her dress is going to have to be basically the same thing. So, I mean, a very challenging book for me, but I think it's going to be very doable. Now, do I think I'll get this done in March? No. What I probably will do is pick one or two things and start going through it and come up with my color recipes for, let's say, Dr. Watson's jacket. And then I go through and look every time I see this jacket coat combination with the, how do I color that? But, that's part of the thing, is my coloring books don't get finished. They very rarely, especially the storybook ones, don't get finished in order, because I am trying to make sure that, with like the young lady here, that I've got the same coloring, the same look. She should not look that different between these three. And so, that repetition is really going to be helpful for establishing consistency throughout the book. So, looking forward to that. Oh, the paper in this too is pretty good paper. It's slightly heavier than copier paper. It's got a good tooth. I think it's going to take the Prismas really well. I wouldn't do any of the watercolors, largely because they are double-sided and there is print on both. And I definitely don't want any smearing, but they have a couple different one of these books. They have one for Frankenstein, I think. They I want to say Shakespeare, but I might be getting it confused. But this is a really good one, and I'm looking forward to it for my mystery madness that's going on in March. Now, March also turns into spring about midway, and as I said, I really wanted to get back into my secret garden, and I'll show you what I'm doing in secret garden in just a moment. But I've gotten some new books recently, and of course they're itching to try them. And actually, Jen Reading with Pugs has already started working in this Peter Rabbit, and then the same author, Charles Santore, I also have his Wizard of Oz now. This one just came out this month. I'm really excited about it as well. Peter Rabbit has kind of a grayscale to him as well, but the best thing I see is we actually have copies of the illustrations as they appeared in the book that he illustrated. So these are takes off of the Peter Rabbit that Charles Santore would have illustrated, and there are the colored illustrations as an example. And I will probably try to emulate to some degree these pages, because I think that might step up my game even more, make me pay attention a little closer to things. So I'm looking forward to working in that. They are not, it's an odd size book, and they look like really large pictures, but ultimately they're also kind of simple. And then he's done very heavy gray sketching in there, which, again, it'll be interesting to see how I work in these. So some beautiful pictures. But what I really like, is, oh, Peter, you have no clothes and you're running through the garden willy-nilly. Oh, boy, that mouse has a full mouth. So, all right, so here's the cat picture, and then this is what it looks like done. So we'll see what I can do. But that's one reason I got these. Now these, again, I don't know if I'm going to get to, but these would be great for April as well. And then the other one is Wizard of Oz, done in the same thing. So he did a version of Wizard of Oz. He's done illustrations. They're all beautifully done here. These are not the original ones from the original book, but they are gorgeous. I mean, he's really a talented artist. And again, this one I might try to go and try to match up, largely because I look at my coloring books as a chance to kind of learn, and if I can, you know, emulate a little bit or figure it out or find out what I'm doing wrong is important. But there's some beautiful. Now his hand is a little heavier on these with his gray, so we'll have to see what my colors are going to do with that. But there's some amazing pictures. Of course, once we get to Oz, it just goes off the rails there. Yeah, crazy, huh? But beautiful. All right, so those are some possibilities. The big thing I was looking for is like leprechauns or something Irish or Celtic, and because I'd love to do that around, like I did for Mardi Gras, and for Valentine's Day, I'd like to do a quick, easy one. I haven't found one yet, so I might be out there. So that'll be a little surprise for you whenever we do our color transitions as far as for March. If I found one, fingers crossed, I kind of am hoping that there might be a freebie on Bennett Klein's Facebook page that might come out. Another option would be, I have Rhapsody in the Forest, but I really think this one I'm going to wait until April. But these are just gorgeous books, and I cannot wait to get into these. But I think it's more likely that I would wait and hold off until April. If I'm going to break out a gardening book, though, it's going to have to be The Secret Garden again. I've taken off the cover. I hate the covers staying on get beat up because of everything. But so I've done some things already in The Secret Garden, and so this is the first page. And it's funny because this is one of the first ones I've ever did at the very beginning. I've actually left the animals white for some reason. Maybe I need to go in and finish that. And it's funny looking back at your work when you started, you know. I mean, I was trying to do layering, and I mean, this literally was one of my very first ones. And though I think it's quite beautiful and it has a lot of movement in it, you know, I'm looking at it going, oh, if I would have done this or if I had done that. I wish it was a little darker. I wish it was, because I do like a more intense picture. Another one that I'm starting on in this, I'm actually using a Sam Dreyer. She does a lot of tutorials on YouTube, and she uses her Stettler pens to do a lot of outlining first and then goes back in with her pencils. And so I'm taking one of her suggested ones. I think it's through, I believe it's a Bennett Klein that she does this on, but instead I'm applying it to here. So this will be a lovely one to keep continuing on. So I obviously started this one, like I said, back in August or so, and then I started moving into my other one. So this will be one that I return to. And one of the things I'm doing in my secret garden is I want it to be like it's midnight in my secret garden, so I have taken to really trying to make my garden scenes be nighttime scenes. And I actually, this is when I first started doing my backgrounds and doing the variances in colors. And so this is one of those that I'd like to go back to and kind of show you how I built this up and what this is going to look like. I've put a moon in, and how did I do that? How am I doing the lights? Because these are all things that we see other beautiful artists do, and there's not always a discussion about how they're doing it. So my secret garden is my garden at nighttime, and so I also have another page, let's see, that I've worked on as well. So this one. So this is in transition. So this is what this whole area looked like before I put on the Gamsol. And so I will show you, whenever I do my Gamsol thing, to show you how when you start going over this, it just deepens it and really brightened it up. I was so excited. This was one of my very first ones. So again, it's another nighttime one. And so that might be something I'll do in March and show you, because that would be a great little tutorial. And then I don't know. I have notes all through this as far as what I want to do with some of these different pictures. And then of course you've already seen the heart that I've already finished. So getting back into Secret Garden is one that I'd really like to do. So I have all these possibilities, but there's one other possibility. This is Mystery March, and the only one that really goes with that, of course, is my Sherlock Holmes. But I also have another one that I'm actually going to do a quick little video about, and it's because I love myself some Scooby-Doo. So I have been on the hunt looking for paper for me to print on that then I can color on. All I had was copy paper, and my printer doesn't accept very heavy paper, and I think I found it, so I'm going to do a video about that paper and this picture, so something to look forward to. So this is what I was coloring in February, and now what I'm thinking I'll be coloring in March. I think you'll definitely see Scooby-Doo show up, and Sherlock Holmes for sure. Beyond that, it might be just back into Secret Garden come springtime, which is coming this month. So keep coloring those pages, and I'll talk to you soon.